What if my government cuts off my internet access?
We choose truth over facts.
What if they ban Bitcoin in the country I live in?
同志们，朋友们，
And what if we descend into a post-apocalyptic Book of Eli world wherein we survive off ketchup packets and KFC wet wipes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
All of these concerns are possibilities. The government may cut off your internet access. They may try to ban Bitcoin in your country. There may even be a massive nuclear war, and those who survive will be left to fend for themselves in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. However, as a Christian, these are not rational or informed reasons to hold on to your dollars and not get any Bitcoin. A common misconception is the government can confiscate your Bitcoin. They can't do that unless you voluntarily give them access to do that. Your Bitcoin wallet is not like a bank. No one can have access to it except you and those that you share it with. But let's pump the brakes a bit here and ask the important underlying question. Does the government actually have the authority to decree and impose the form of money? Now, the quick answer is no. God never gave the government the authority to legitimize and impose any form of money they want. And up until recent times, money was whatever was the hardest. People used seashells or rye stones as money for many years, but eventually gold and silver won out as the best forms of money, not because a government official somewhere imposed it on everyone, but because those things contain the most desirable characteristics of what makes good money. They were scarce, they were difficult to procure. Money is chosen by the free market, not by the enforcement of politicians and their armed thugs.
I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
Abraham was rich, the Bible says, in sheep, gold, and silver, all of which were things used for trade in ancient times, chosen completely by the free market and imposed by no one. Money is the tool you save your time and labor with. Money is your property in whatever form that manifests itself, whether it's gold or silver or paper notes or Bitcoin. Property rights come from God, not man. Exodus 20:15 says, "You shall not steal." God forbids theft because God bestowed property rights unto all mankind. Now, for a government to ban Bitcoin would be for them to ban property rights. That they don't have the authority to impose one form of money on a people over another. God has not given them that right. Now, some will say, but Pastor, we're living in perilous times. Besides, if the government wanted to ban Bitcoin and confiscate it, they would find a way. Bitcoin is a paradigm shift, like all new disruptive technologies. All we've known is government fiat money, and with fiat money, the government can freeze your bank account, steal your money. They can do whatever they want. Now, I understand it's hard for us to comprehend a monetary technology that's outside the control of centralized government thieves, but Bitcoin is outside of their control. Bitcoin is decentralized. It's software. It's being run on tens of thousands of computers called nodes scattered all around the world. And each node contains a full copy of the Bitcoin ledger, which securely houses all the Bitcoin in existence with a record of who owns what. For any government to stop, freeze, or confiscate any Bitcoin, they would have to physically take control of all the nodes in the network, or they would have to obtain 51% of the hash rate, the energy that's used in securing the network, which would require approximately $2 million an hour right now of electricity with no guarantee of success. Indeed, no one has ever successfully attacked the Bitcoin network. Plus, this doesn't take into account the upwards of $10 billion of hardware that they would need to get in order to have the computing power of a 51% of the hash rate. And on top of all that, the computer chip manufacturers, they couldn't keep up with making the chips fast enough to make such an attack on Bitcoin even feasible. If that wasn't enough, as the hash rate of the network increases, so does the costliness of an attempted attack. So all governments can try to do is regulate Bitcoin, but they're powerless to actually attack it. They could try to ban it. All an attempted attack would do is leave them broken and embarrassed. Attacking Bitcoin is like attacking an invisible, constantly moving army that's scattered all around the world and growing exponentially. It's a decentralized moving target that lives in cyberspace. Can't be attacked successfully. Christian, the Bible says, if it's possible on your part, live at peace with everyone. That's Romans 12:18. And obviously living under a government that would try to block your access to the internet or try to ban access to an alternative free market currency is not interested in its people living at peace with each other. Bitcoin is a legitimate, peaceful, God-honoring way for you to circumvent a tyrannical government by opting out of the fiat scam. Running code on a computer is not illegal, nor is it immoral. And if we're so concerned about government overreach, then we should be fighting for Bitcoin, not ignoring it. If we care about preserving our hard-earned wealth for the generations ahead of us from corrupt central bankers,
I trust the Fed to make the right decisions.
we should be buying Bitcoin and advocating for a Bitcoin standard. Bitcoin is freedom money, but many of us are choosing to cling on to our debased and debasing fiat paper that's programmed to be less valuable over time.
Euros are going to zero. The yen's going to zero. The Chinese currency is going to zero. It's all going to zero against Bitcoin.
Why are we doing this? Because the government will try to ban it? Isn't that a red flag that maybe you should get some? A tyrannical government trying to keep control of its plummeting fiat system by restricting access to a hard, sound form of money like Bitcoin might be one of the most compelling buy signals that there is. Now, in recap, God has not given the government authority to ban or impose any form of money on its people. Instead, He's given all of us property rights and the mandate to generate wealth and subdue creation. That should be enough for us as Christians to at least begin to investigate what makes Bitcoin so unique. And secondly, even if they wanted to control Bitcoin, at this point in the game, it's like finding a needle in a haystack on Pluto. It's just too costly, it's unfeasible. And finally, if they're trying to ban Bitcoin and impose their fiat money, that's a not so subtle signal to get some Bitcoin. However, I will admit this, if there is a cataclysmic nuclear disaster, your money may be gone forever. But guess what? In that scenario, your dollars will be useless as well. So stock up on canned beans, water, and ammunition in that case. And get some Bitcoin while you're at it. If this video was a blessing to you, please send us some Bitcoin, some sats. The address is in the description below. May God bless you, and stack sats.
Do you know that it's a criminal offense to tear up?
Do you know that with the Bitcoin I have, I can buy any freaking senator or congressman I want? I make the laws. He who has the Bitcoin makes the laws, Rand. We're not going to just sit around and let the congressmen tell us what to do. We've got the capital. We make the laws. We've got the Bitcoin. They don't. We got it. They don't. Do you understand?